All right, everyone, so everybody should be able to see my screen at this point, and you see our presentation for today. This is the 6th advanced class, so everything is in English, but if you need explanations, please let me know, and I will explain anything that you need. I will translate anything that you need. Okay. So last week we worked on the future continuous tense, and we worked on the simple present, and I also gave you a list of verbs, and that's what we are going to work on first today. We're going to go over that first. So we talked about the future continuous tense, and I gave you a couple of sentences to look at. And here are some sentences that are in the future continuous tense. So we have, if you arrive at 7 p.m., we will be eating already. That's future continuous. At 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, they will be having breakfast. If you call me at 6 p.m., I will be taking a shower. Don't call us between noon and 2 o'clock because we will be getting ready. On Sunday, we will be driving for a few hours. Okay, so those were the future continuous tense sentences that I gave you. Okay, so then after that, I gave you some other examples, right? And here we have 5 more. If you come this evening, we will be playing cards in the living room. That's future continuous. At 7 p.m. tomorrow night, they will be watching a movie together. If you call me after midnight, I will be sleeping and will not pick up the phone. Don't pass by tomorrow afternoon since we will be visiting our family in the city. And next month, we will be vacationing in Mexico. And I'm going to make a quick change here. I'm going to put a comma here. Okay, so there you go. All right. Let me know if there's any questions as we continue. You can stop me at any time. But again, this is a review from last week's class, right? And then we also worked last week on the simple present tense, and I give you some examples there using verbs in the simple present. If you see here, we have 3 examples in the third person singular, number 3, 4, and 5. And the other 2 are not. We have subject we and subject they. The verb is without the S, and then the boy, which is he, she, and my family, which could be understood as it, because that's only one family. They're all third person singular, so the verb has an S. So here we go. On weekdays, we always have dinner at 7 p.m. at night. Number 2. They eat breakfast every morning before 8 o'clock. Number 3, the boy takes a shower every night before he goes to bed. Number 4, she gets ready for work every morning before the children wake up. And number 5, my family drives to the beach every summer. So there you have your first 5 examples of the simple present tense. And then we move on to the next 5 sentences, which is also the simple present tense. And we have some third person singular. So we have number 1, the teacher, could be he or she. Number 3, Robert is he. Right, and then everything else is not in the third person singular, so everything else is without an S. So what do we have? The teacher asks her students to study every night. The students watch a video related to the class every week. Robert often sleeps late on Fridays and Saturdays. Number 4, Rose and Daniel visit their parents every weekend. And number 5, our family members vacation together whenever they get the chance. Okay, so there you have the last 5. Okay, so I'll wait for any questions. And if there aren't any questions, then I'll move on to the next slide. Okay, and then our next slide is going to be the reading that we're going to be doing, right? So I am going to have you guys reading a little bit today. And what I'm going to do is I gave you a great list of verbs last week. And what I want you guys to do is to read some of those verbs with me today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Luz. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, Luz, is I'm going to open up your microphone, right? And then I am going to show you the first list of words. And when you're ready, what I want you to do is I want you to read that list of words. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Practice, need, want, cry, ask, touch, visit, play, wait.
Okay, that was very good. I want you to, that was excellent. I want you to read it one more time, read it a little bit slower, but that was really good, by the way. I mean, everything sounded good. Do it one more time. Go ahead.
Okay. Practice, need, want, cry, ask, touch, visit, play, and wait.
Okay, let's look at the word touch. Say touch.
Touch.
Okay, so the O and the U, you're saying too much OU. Toe, touch, touch,
Okay.
touch. Touch.
Touch.
Touch. Yeah, it's almost like a lot of times when there's two vowels together, they blend. So you don't make the sound of both vowels. Now, that's not always, but sometimes. So one more time, touch.
Touch.
That's perfect. That sounds really nice. Okay, so that's good right there. Good job. All right, so now I'm going to mute your microphone. I'm going to go with Mariela. Mariela, I want you to read the words in number 2. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Work, walk, live, try, smoke, kill, dance, clean, help.
Okay, that was very good. There's 2 words that we're gonna work with, but what I want you to do is the same thing. I want you to read them again a little bit slower, and then I'm gonna stop you in the words that I want to practice. Okay? So do
Okay.
number 1 again.
Okay. Work, walk,
Right there.
Live.
Let's try that one really quick. Walk.
walk.
That's good. So the second time was excellent. The first time you didn't mention the K, but the second time you fixed it by yourself. So that was really good. Can you read number 1 and number 2 again, just to make sure?
Okay. Work, walk,
Walk.
walk,
That's it. That's
Walk.
perfect. Keep going.
live, try, smoke,
Right here. Stop. Smoke.
smoke,
That's it. Yeah. No. So remember, the words that have an S, no smoke. Smoke. Okay.
smoke, kill, dance, clean, help.
Perfect. That was excellent. All right, I'm going to close your microphone. So I do want Mariana to try, but I know you're having trouble opening the microphone. I'm going to give you, let's try again to see if we can have you open the microphone. I'm going to open it here. And yep, there it is. You got it. Okay, great. Say hello so I can make sure that you can hear me.
Hello, Professor.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Very good, very good. Okay, I'm going to give you number 3, okay? So here
Okay.
you go. This is yours. Go ahead.
Talk, travel, enjoy, like, love, listen, answer, comment, decide.
Very good. Okay, so we have about 3 that I want to go over, but I'll tell you something. A lot of people make a mistake with answer, and you said it perfectly. So answer is very good. I want you to do them again slowly, and I'm going to stop you where I think that we can practice a little bit. So go ahead.
Okay. Talk,
So let's do that one again. Talk.
talk, travel,
Talk. Good. No,
talk.
let's stay with talk a little bit. Talk and walk, which Mariela did at number 2, they sound exactly the same except for the first letter. So talk. Oh, talk.
Talk.
Talk. Very good. You see, the L is not so strong. So it's not talk, talk. No, it's talk. Almost like the L, you don't even hear it.
Talk.
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 Yeah, that's better. Talk. Now,
Talk.
go for number 2.
Travel,
Good.
enjoy,
Hmm.
like, love, listen, answer, comment,
Then right here,
decide,
let's work on comment. Comment.
comment.
That's perfect right there. Comment. Yeah, not comment. There's no stress there. Not comment, but comment.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Comment.
Do it one more time. Let me hear it one more time.
The same word,
The same word, yeah.
comment,
That was perfect. Last one.
design,
Decide. Try,
design,
try, try, try it again.
design.
Yeah. So decide sounds exactly like the word lado, side, como si fuera S-I-D-E, side. Decide.
Design.
Perfect. There we go. Okay, very good. Excellent. So then I'm going to mute your microphone and I'm going to open the microphone for Luz. And Luz, I'm going to give you the next couple of words. You can go ahead.
Okay. Complete, change, close, open, finish, begin, start, end, and jump.
Everything was good. We're just going to work on start. Can you repeat that one for me?
Start.
One more time. Start.
Start.
That was perfect. All right, read them one more time slower. Go ahead.
Complete, change, close, open, finish, begin, start, end, and jump.
Jump. Make that P. Yep, perfect.
Jump.
Do it one more time. Go ahead.
Okay, jump.
That's it. Perfect. That's it. You got it. All right, let's go to Mariela. I'm opening up and I'm giving you list number 5. Go ahead.
Okay. Fall, duck, hop, lay, come, chase, prepare, tune, ten.
Okay, so let's look at those last 2. You got two tough ones there because they're so close. Think. Repeat after me. Think.
Tent,
Okay, so it's okay. One more time. Think.
tint,
Yeah, so you have to practice the TH sound. The th. Like el dedo grande de la mano es thumb. ¿Quieres practicar esa TH? Porque cuando la dices suena como que la H no está, suena mucho como think. Pero tú no quieres think, tú quieres th, think. You want to try one more
think,
time? That was better.
think,
That was better. And what about the last
think,
one? What
ten,
about the last one?
ten,
Y la K al final.
tent.
Better. Thank. Much better. Can you do all of them again? Nice and slow. Go ahead.
Okay. Fall, duck, hop, lay, come, chase, prepare, tin, ten.
y la K al final, solamente la K al final, and that would be perfect.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Me como la K.
Yeah, I know. It takes getting used to. So remember those two. Think,
Think.
and we're gonna practice those more, okay? So yeah, so you have so you know that those are two things you're gonna practice: the TAs, the th, and the k at the end. Esos dos sonidos, cuando se dicen esa palabra, suenan fuerte. Think. All right? Good job.
Think and think. Okay.
No problem. Good job. All right. So let's keep going. I think Mariana, I think it's your turn, right? So I'm opening your microphone, and you can go ahead and do number 6.
Vacation, deliver, count, read, write, study, memorize, drive, write.
Perfect. That was really good. All right, you're going to read it again, and be careful with study. No, casi dijiste study, pero no lo hiciste, pero como que casi lo ibas a hacer. So it's empieza como el sonido de C.
Siempre
Study.
me confundo con la S.
Con la S, muchas personas, a lot of people. Como school, study, they always do that. Study. All right, go ahead, do it again.
Vacation, deliver, count, read, write, study, memorize, drive, write.
Perfect, good job. Okay, I'm closing your microphone and I'm opening up Luz's microphone, and she can go ahead and do number 7. And there it is, go ahead.
Okay. Enter, exit, purchase, search, close, exercise, believe, dream, and wish.
Good. Let me see, repeat after me, exit,
Exit,
that was perfect, and lose.
lose,
That's perfect. Okay, can you do them all again one more time?
enter,
Slowly.
exit, purchase,
Oh,
search,
right here. Purchase.
purchase,
That was much better. Now say it regular. Purchase.
purchase,
Perfect. Keep going.
search, lose, exercise, believe, dream, and wish.
Good job. Excellent job. All right. We're going to finish up with, I believe, Mariela, you're going to finish up for us? Right? So, is that right? Or is it, oh, I should have wrote these down in order. Who's next? Is it Mariela? Mariela, are you next?
Yes.
Okay, you are next. Okay, good. I need to write your names down in order so I don't forget. Okay, go ahead. Oh, and look, the first word is forget.
Okay. Forget, worry, yell, whisper, scream, speak, whistle, look, see.
Very good. And don't roll your R's. So everything was perfect. The only one that we need to fix is worry. No worry. En español la R es así fuerte, ¿verdad? Worry. But in English, you don't roll your R's. You say worry. Repeat after me. Worry.
Worry.
Worry. There you go. Por eso que se le hace difícil cuando los americanos tratan de aprender el español. La R es muy difícil para ellos, porque en inglés la R nunca suena así, la R, so they don't know how to do it. No saben hacerlo. They don't know how to do it. So in English you say worry. Can you read them all one more time?
Okay. Forget, worry, yell, whisper, scream, speak, whistle, look, see.
Excellent. Good job. All right. Everybody did a great job. So that's our little speaking practice for today. In the future, we're going to do whole sentences, and we're going to do some really cool, some really great exercises where one person speaks and the other people try to understand what they're saying. So we'll do that in the future. But the good thing is that you guys were able to do the microphone and to speak, and it worked really well. So good job. Thank you for practicing that with me. we're going to look at the class for today. So that was all the review from last week. Now we're going to look at today's lesson. And today's lesson, we're going to do quite a few things. We're going to do the simple present tense in the negative form, the simple present tense in negative with contractions. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the simple present tense as a question. We're going to look at the simple present tense in third person singular. Okay, that's with the S. We're going to practice that some. We're also going to do contractions with the simple present in third person singular, right? And then we're going to do the simple present tense in question form again at the end, right? So that's going to be quite a few practices, a few basic things, but things that are important nonetheless, okay? So we're going to start right away with the simple present tense in negative form. And what I want you guys to do is just try to give me the answer. So I'm going to read these to you one time, and then as I click, as I move on, the answers are going to appear on the screen. And what we want is we want to change these to negative, right? So I'm going to say, I live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. So what I want you to do is, I guess you can do it in the chat. Why don't you write for me how you would say that in negative? You don't have to do the whole sentence. Just give me the subject and the verb combination in the negative. All right? So I live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. I want the subject and the verb combination that makes it negative. How do you say that in the negative? I live, negative would be what? What would be negative? Anybody know? So you're going to write I because it is the subject, and then you want the negative of live. What is the negative of live in the present tense? Has anybody worked with this before? That's it. I got it. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly how you say it. Or do not. Exactly. So that's your answer there. So I live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. I do not live. And I'm not giving you contraction yet, even though you probably know it, because that's the next step. So for now, I just want to make sure everybody knows how to change these to negative first. I do not live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. Very good. So let's look at the next one. We listen to music and dance together every weekend. Again, subject and the negative part of the verb. That's the answer you're going to give me. Use the chat, type it in. Let me see that you know it, then I'll show it to you. We listen to music and dance together every weekend. How do you say that in negative? We don't listen. Good. And you guys are doing it right away with the contractions, which means that you know how to do the contractions right away. So we do not listen. We do not listen to music and dance together every weekend. Very good. So then I'll give you the next three. My friends from school speak French very well. So you already know do not goes before the verb. My friends from school do not speak French very well. You and your classmates study English together over the computer. You add do not before the verb, and it's going to be you and your classmates do not study English together over the computer. And the last one, on weekdays, my family members work at least 8 hours each day. Do not before work. So on weekdays, my family members do not work at least 8 hours each day, okay? So I'll leave those up for like a minute or two in case you want to copy them. The more you copy, the better, because you have a lot of examples in your book that you can, in your notebooks that you can read over. So I'll give you about a minute or two. Ask me any questions. Pronunciation questions are fine. You can give me questions on definitions, translation, anything like that. If not, I'll give you this moment to copy the sentences if you want them. Okay? So that's good. So we are practicing, as you copy, I'm going to talk. We're practicing the simple present tense in the negative form. And what we see is that if you add do not before the verb in the simple present, you turn it into negative. That's what you have to do. You add do not, and you turn it into negative. Okay? And that is the rule. And then we're looking at a few verbs here. We're looking at live, listen and speak, study, and work are the verbs in the simple present that we're working with. And then we look at some of the vocabulary words, which I hope everybody knows, but if you don't know, ask me. We have apartment and fiance. Brother, I'm sure we all know. Music and dance. Together, weekend. French, which is a language. We know French. Classmates. Computer, which is an easy one because it's similar in Spanish. Family members and hours. 8 hours. Okay, at least. So let me know if you need the definition for any of those words. Or if you know them, then we're okay. All right, guys, so now I'm going to move on to the next page. Hopefully you were able to copy. If you weren't, don't worry. You're going to get the video. Which you will be able to see all of these, but we're going to move on to the next page. Okay. So here we go. And actually, you still have them there. These are still the same. So if you want to copy these, you can copy these still because you still have them here. Simple present tense, negative form with contractions. And you guys already showed me you know contractions. So we're not going to spend a lot of time going over this because you know it already. So do not, right, for all of them, changes to don't. And that's it, that's the contraction. So instead of I do not live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother, I don't. That's it. You do the contraction do and not together, and that's how you do the contraction. You put the apostrophe between the N and the T. All right, I don't live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. All right, so make sure you're still copying as I read. I'm just going to go through these because I know that you guys know these already, so I'm not going to take too long so that we can continue with the practice. Number 2, we do not listen to music and dance together every weekend. Changes to we don't listen to music and dance together every weekend, right? Number 3, my friends from school do not speak French very well. Changes to my friends from school don't speak French very well. You and your classmates do not study English together over the computer. That would be you and your classmates don't study English together over the computer. And on weekdays, my family members do not work at least 8 hours each day. We'll change to on weekdays, my family members don't work at least 8 hours each day, okay? So hopefully by now you've been able to copy. You don't have to copy this twice because you know that all you have to do is change do not to don't for all of them. And that's it, okay? And if you notice, all of these, we're not using third person singular yet. We will. And then I'll show you what that looks like later. But for now, we're using everything else like I, we, they, you, right? And my family would be they. My family members would be they. So we're using all of those. I, we, you, they. And if you see when you use that as a subject, when you use either I, we, you, or they as a subject, the verb is, the auxiliary verb that we use for the negative simple present is do not, right? You could use it in the positive, when it's affirmative as well, but you don't need to. So you can say I do live, but you can say I live. You don't need the do. But in the negative, you need it, right? It's mandatory when you speak in negative. You have to use do. You have to use it as do not or contraction as don't. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next piece. Hopefully you've been able to copy those. And the next piece is simple present tense in question form. So with the question form, I want to make sure you guys know this before I show it, just so that I know that you know it. If you don't know it, I'll take a little bit longer explaining it. But if you know it, then I know I can move along. So what I want to do is, before you give me the answer, do not give me the answer yet. I want everybody to go to where it says, to the chat, where it says all entire audience, and click down and put the presenter. I think it's like presenter. Click on presenter so only I can see your answer. And what I want everybody to do right now, I want you to give me number 1 as a question. If you know how to do number 1 as a question, I want you to give that to me in the chat. But I want you to give it to me as a private message, because I don't want you to give the answer to anybody else. I want to see that everybody knows it. And for question form, no, oh yeah, perfect. I do see one there. And for question form, please give me the whole sentence. So I want you to write out, for this one, I do want you to write out the whole sentence. But change, see, that question that I received from somebody, that's good, but I want you to change this sentence, the same sentence, to a question. Don't not give me a question that'll give me this as an answer, but turn it into a question. I'll give you, let me see, I'll give you an example. Well, I'll wait a little bit to see what other answers I get, and then I'll give you guys a hint or an example of how to do it. But you're still going to have a lot of these same words and ideas in your question. You're just changing it to a question. Okay? So you have, I live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. How do you ask that? So, for example, you know what will help? I'll say it in Spanish. That way you'll know what I'm looking for. So, si yo digo, yo vivo en este apartamento con mi prometida y su hermano. Para hacerlo como pregunta, pueden hacer, vivo yo en este apartamento con mi prometida y su hermano, o vives tú, si quieres hacerlo como una conversación entre dos personas, vives tú con, like that, that's what I want, con tu prometida y su hermano. So I want you to, la misma oración la van a convertir en una pregunta. How do you do that? You're going to change the same sentence into a question. How do you do that? ¿Cómo se hace? Any ideas? All right, so I'm going to show you guys because I'm not getting. I got one answer, but it wasn't what I was looking for, and I'm waiting for other answers, but I don't have any other answers yet. So I'm going to take that to mean that we're thinking about how to do it, and we're not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Okay. So let's do that. So here's number 1. I'm going to give you the answer to number 1. I think after you look at number 1, you'll be able to do all of them. Do I? If you add the word do to the beginning, that's a question. That's it. You got a question. Do I live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother? That's fine. Or you could change I to you. If you change it to you, it just turns it into a conversation, right? So do you live in this apartment with your fiance and her brother? Yes, I do live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. That's what it would sound like in a conversation. Or if, let's say, if you're thinking about it yourself, you know, oh, do I live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother? Right? If you're asking yourself that question, that's how you would do it. Okay, so very simple. Do I? That's how you do it. To make sure that we understand it, look at number 2. I want you to do the same thing for number 2. I want you to use the chat. Use the chat to give me the answer, the whole sentence, and private messages only. Okay, I'll give you guys some time. Matter of fact, I'll give you guys a minute. You have 1 minute. I started the timer to give me the answer in the chat. But give me the whole sentence, though. I want the whole sentence. I know, you know, a lot of it doesn't change, so you're retyping it, but believe me, retyping the sentence, that practice of just writing it over, it helps. It helps in looking at these words and learning them. So give me the whole sentence. You got 1 minute. A little bit of typing at the same time, right? We're not doing does yet, so I should not get does. Mariela, cambia el chat a que sea privado. Tienes que ir a donde dice, debajo dice all entire audience, cámbialo a presenter only. Okay? Para que el mensaje sea privado. We're not doing does, guys. Don't do does. Does is for third person singular. Does is for third person singular. Okay? So I did get one answer that looked good. It was do we. You just had to give me the whole answer though. So the whole answer is I did just get the whole answer now. Do we listen to music and dance together every weekend? That is correct. That is good. Do we listen to music and dance together every weekend? Right? So that's the question. All right. Let me know if you have any questions about the practice. Now I want everybody to do number 3. What I'll do is maybe I'll give you a little bit of extra time. I'll give you a minute. Can I do a minute and a half here? I'll give you 2 minutes, guys. I'll give you 2 minutes to give me the whole answer. You got to type it out. Give me number 3 as a question. Number 3 as a question, following the example. And give me the whole thing with a question mark at the end. Okay, so I'm looking for some answers here. Don't forget, try to give me the whole question. If you can, try to type it out. We're doing number 3 as a question, and it is simple, right? So we already learned that if we put do in the beginning, it turns into a question. Don't change anything else. Okay, I see 1 there. That's good. You can't change it today, though. You're not going to be able to change it today. Unless you change the whole subject, my friends from school. So you can say, do they speak? Because the whole subject is my friends from school. Okay, so I'm going to stop the timer. Here it is, guys. Do my friends from school speak French very well? If you're going to change the subject, you have to change the entire subject. The subject is my friends from school. So if you're going to say they, you have to say, do they speak French very well? That would be okay. Do they speak? That would be okay. But not do they from school. You can't do that because the subject is the entire thing. My friends from school. That's the subject. Okay. Good. So if you did want, do they speak French very well? That would be okay. But you would have to replace the entire subject with they. Okay. All right. I'll give you guys another 2 minutes, and then you can do number 4. I think that'll be the last one that we'll do for this practice. All right, 2 minutes started. So see if you can do the next one. I'm already getting some answers though, which is good. Good. Very good. Mariana just gave me an answer. Very good. Mariana, you know what? Do you know how to do that if you replace the subject with a pronoun? Try to do it replacing the subject with a pronoun. I'm just trying to see what you would write. Okay, give that a try. But that is good. Yeah, so it's very simple, guys. Don't forget. If I put the word do in the beginning, I turn it into a question. And then all I have to do is put a question mark at the end. And you're asking the same sentence in a question. That's it. Any sentence that starts with the word do is a question. Do you, do I, do we, do they? It's a question every single time. Okay? And then remember, if you wanted to change this to a pronoun, you have to change the entire subject. So to change this, and that's something we'll practice that later. But for now, just, if you want to get an idea of what that looks like, you have to find the whole subject, right? And remember that the word and conjoins or puts things together. So the subject would be you and your classmates. So you would have to put all of that together. So you and your classmates would have to be combined into one pronoun, and then you can change it, okay? So we got a few more seconds. I'm still waiting for some more answers. If not, I'm going to show you the answer on the screen so that you know how to write these as questions. Okay, time is up, so I'm going to stop the timer. I'm going to give you guys the answer. There you go. Do you and your classmates study English together over the computer? And if you wanted to change this to the pronoun, you would have to change you and your classmates. You would have to change it to you. Tú y tus compañeros de clase sería ustedes. So it would be, do you study, right? Not do you and your classmates. That would be the same thing, right? Tú y tus compañeros de clase. Sería ustedes. Entonces, todo cambiaría a ustedes. Y ustedes en inglés es you. Do you study English together over the computer? If you don't understand that part, don't worry, because we're not practicing that. But since somebody was trying, no, not a problem. But since somebody was trying to change the subject to pronouns, I said, you know what, it might be a good idea to talk about that. Okay? But the simple lesson, what I want you to take away from this is to make a question, just add the word do. Look at number 5. On weekdays, my family members work at least 8 hours each day. Answer, on weekdays, do my family members, right? If you add do to the beginning of the independent clause, you can't add it to the beginning of on weekdays, right? Because that's a dependent clause. It can go in the beginning with a comma, or it could go at the end. But if you add it to the beginning of the independent clause before the subject, then it's a question. There it is. On weekdays, do my family members work at least 8 hours each day? All right. So those are all the questions here. Very simple, guys. Just add do to the beginning, right? And in this case, number 5, add do to the beginning of the independent clause, right? Because on weekdays, comma, that's like a dependent clause. It's by itself. It can go at the end. Do my family members work at least 8 hours each day on weekdays? Or it could go in the beginning with a comma. On weekdays, do my family members work at least 8 hours each day? Right? And there you have it. Those are all the questions there. Are there any questions for me? Or does this make sense? Is everybody okay so far? Let me know if you have any questions for me, or if anything is unclear. If anything is unclear. If not, we're going to move on, because now we have to do the third person singular. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it as a third person singular. All right, so let's move on to the third person singular, and let's see how we do there. So here we go, simple present tense in the third person singular. Number 1, I do not live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. We're going to change it to third person singular. He does not. What changes? The subject, look, I'll go back. I changes to he. Do changes to does. When you do third person singular, you have to change the auxiliary verb do to does. He does not live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother, right? So you can leave it like that. Or if you want, let me see if I change. No, let's leave it with my fiance. You can change it to his fiance if you want. If not, we can leave it that way. He does not live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. Okay? Look at we. We do not listen to music and dance together every weekend. So change it to, let's say, she. It would be she does not listen to music and dance together and dance every week. And I guess together doesn't sound really good with she. So what I would do is I would probably just take together out, or maybe change it with us. I think with us makes more sense, right? That would make more sense if we did it that way. So I would do, we do not listen to music and dance together every weekend. And then that would be, I'll change it here. She does not listen to music and dance with us every weekend. I would change it that way, okay? As a matter of fact, let me just fix that really quick so that you guys can see it. Better. Okay, so I'm gonna move it there. All right. So there you go. So you guys have number one and number two. I'm gonna do a little practice. Actually, let's hold off on the practice. Let's do number three together. My friends from school do not speak French very well. So let's see what that would look like as third person singular. My friend, right. So you're going to do singular here. My friend from school does not speak French very well. So look at the difference here. This is plural. My friends with an S. My friends from school do not, right? Do because it's friends, it's plural. When I change it to singular, my friend from school does not. Singular, no S, does not. Okay? Speak French very well. Number four, you and your classmates do not study English together over the computer. So we're going to change this to singular, and we'll have my classmate. That's singular, right? We went from you and your classmates to two groups, right? You and them. You and your classmates. Now it's my classmate, singular, does not study English. I'm going to do the same thing here. Guys, I should have changed together to with us. Together doesn't make sense as third person singular that way. So I'm just going to change it really quick so that it can look like that instead. So here we go. You and your classmates do not study English together over the computer. My classmate does not study English with us over the computer. It sounds better. And the last one. On weekdays, my family members do not work at least 8 hours a day. And we're going to change member to members, right? There, that makes it singular. Members to member. On weekdays, my family member does not work at least 8 hours each day. Okay? So here you go, guys. Every single sentence has been converted or changed to the third person singular. What I want you guys to do now is I want you to write it. I want you to write it so that you have it as an example of the third person singular. And in this case, in the negative form. You have it in the negative form here. And what changes, if we remember, what changes is do changes to does when you change the subject to the third person singular in the simple present tense. Do changes to does. Okay? So that's there. I'll give you, like I said, I'll give you a few minutes so that you can copy them in your notebooks, and that way you can have some more examples. You'll have examples of the simple present in negative form when it is third person singular and when it's not third person singular, okay? All right. And of course, let me know if anybody has any questions. Don't forget to message me any questions that you might have, and we can discuss it. We can talk about it. Okay. So here are the same. These are the same sentences again, but now what we're going to do is we're going to change them to contractions. So I'm going to ask you guys very simply in the chat. I want everybody to answer. How do you turn does not into a contraction? You guys already showed me that you know how to change do not to don't. How do you change does not into a contraction? Give me the answer, and then I'll change these to the contraction form once you show it to me. So I'll wait for the answer there. Question is, how do you change does not to the contracted form, to contractions? And I'll wait for the for some responses there. So we know that do not changes to don't. So what do we change does not to when we want to do a contraction? All right, so I'm starting to get answers now. I got 2 out of 3. Those are correct. Just don't forget the apostrophe where it goes. But you do have a space there, so it shows me that you know where it does go. So that is correct, guys. So when we change, if we want to change does not, we want to change it to doesn't. That's correct. That's the answers that I got. And then now what I'll do is here on the screen, instead of going just one by one slowly, since we've read these sentences a few times, I'll just show you these with doesn't. Okay. Here you go. And then I am going to change. Actually, let me just change these again, like we did before, to with us. And then I'll show you the answers again in a second. Here we go. So there you have it. So it's doesn't. So I'm going to read them one time so you can get the pronunciation in. I'm sure you guys are still copying, so that'll give you some opportunity to finish copying if you haven't. So we have, he doesn't live in this apartment with his fiance and her brother. She doesn't listen to music and dance with us every weekend. My friend from school doesn't speak French very well. My classmate doesn't study English with us over the computer. And number 5, on weekdays, my family member doesn't work at least 8 hours each day. Okay? So there you have them all as a contraction in the negative form with the third person singular as doesn't. Okay? So I'm pretty sure that everybody got to copy. If you didn't, I'll put it back up later on if you need it. But what we're going to do now is we're going to finish up these with the question form. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. And what I'm going to ask is, you guys can see number 1 there. I want you guys to send me the answer for number 1. I want you guys to send me the answer for number 1 in the chat. What I want you to do is change it to the question form. But this time, remember, what we're doing is we are going, first of all, you're going from negative to question. So be very careful. Don't ask the question in negative. Do not ask the question in negative. And also remember, this is third person singular. So now you can't just put do in the beginning. We have to put something else in the beginning, right? So what I'll do is I'll give you guys, I think 2 minutes was working fine before. So you guys have 2 minutes. And what I want is number 1. Give me the question for number 1. I'm going to wait for the question for number 1. Question form. The way we did it before, but this time, third person singular. I have one answer, and that answer is correct. So that is very good. I have one. I'll wait for the others. Okay, I have another. Okay, good, good. So number 2 is correct. That is right. Okay, and I'll wait for a third. Good job, guys. We got it. Good. So I think we understand it really well. How to make these questions. So we know how to do affirmative, negative, and question in third person singular and outside of third person singular. Okay. All right. So I do have my answers. So I'm going to stop the timer there. And I'm going to go to the screen. He does not live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother. Question, does he live in this apartment with my fiance and her brother? That's the question form. I'm just going to make 2 quick changes, as you guys have seen me do so far. This together, I keep changing this with us. Again, I'm changing it only because it makes more sense. It sounds better. Together just doesn't make a lot of sense when we are in the third person singular. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, we got it now. So I'll do the rest so we can wrap up. She does not listen to music and dance with us every weekend? Does she listen to music and dance with us every weekend? Again, does in the beginning makes it a question. And you don't want to use the negative when you're doing the question. You can use the negative. It's not that you can't use it, but it doesn't really make sense to use it because you're asking the question. You don't know if it's affirmative or negative. In a conversation, the negative might be appropriate, but if you're just asking a general question outside of a necessary conversation where somebody said something first that leads you to ask the question in the negative, if you're just asking a general question or you're starting a conversation with a question, you're not going to do negative. You're going to do positive, okay? So you can say, just like this, does she listen to music? And same thing with my friend. My friend from school does not speak French very well. Get rid of the not. You don't want not. Put does in the beginning, right? Is it, does my friend from school speak French very well? And that would be your question. Same thing with number 4. My classmate does not study English with us over the computer, right? So you'll have, does my classmate study English with us over the computer, right? You want does in the beginning, and then get rid of the not. You don't need the not for the question. On weekdays, my family member does not work at least 8 hours each day. On weekdays, does my family member work at least 8 hours each day, right? So you want to ask it as a question there, all right? So there you have it as question form. I'll leave it up about like a minute or so. I'll focus my attention on the chat in case there's any questions at this point. What I'll do is I'll do a very quick review. We're going to be done in about maybe 5 minutes or so. We started about 5 to 10 minutes late, so we'll end about 5 to 10 minutes late. So I'll give you that time to kind of look over what we've learned, go over some of the basic rules, and then see if there's any questions afterwards. There are going to be some tests, like I told you, so after we're done, just stay with me so I can give you that link for the test that you're going to take. You're going to have to be registered in GoFutureNow to take that test. All right, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, guys, so that should have been enough time. If you didn't get these sentences, you didn't get a chance to copy them, don't worry, I'll send you the video. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go towards the beginning of class 6, and I'm just going to go over it very quickly because we did go over a lot today. So remember, we went over the simple present tense in negative form with contractions and as questions, and we went over the third person singular simple present tense with contractions and questions. When it's not third person singular, use do. When it is third person singular, use does. Right? So this is all the simple present tense in the negative form. So we went from positive, we went to negative, and we just added do not in the beginning. Then we did contractions, right? So here we have all the contractions, and all we did was don't, right? And that's that. And then we did question, and all we did was put do in the beginning, question mark at the end. And that's it. That's how you do the simple present tense in affirmative, in negative, and in question, and in negative with the contraction. Then we looked at the third person singular. So we started with the negative here because it's the last thing that we had done in the other practice. And what we did was change from the I, we, they, and you. We changed it to he or she, right? So he does not, she does not. Well, we went singular, my friend, my classmate, and my family member. So we went singular. When we went singular, does. You got to go does, right? You can't do it do anymore. You have to go does. And then you can stay with the negative. Does not is okay. From there, we went to the contractions. Does not changes to doesn't, right? So we know how to do the contraction. And then we went to the question. Put does in the beginning, get rid of the not, and that does a question, okay? So that was the lesson for today. Again, it's a little fast, but remember, this is the advanced class, so I try to give you a lot of rules kind of in one day, right? But again, if you need more practice with this, you are going to have a couple of tests that are going to do some practice there. But yeah, just let me know, and we can definitely do that in future classes if you think that we need to look at this further. Okay, so I'm going to end there. If there are no questions, please let me know if there are. But if there aren't, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys the link for the test that we're going to do. So you can put your chat back to entire audience if you want. So just in case you have a question and you want somebody else might have the same question. So you might want to put it there. And also what I'm going to do is I am going to stop the recording here so that we can wrap up. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording there.